This program is brought to you by the Media Liberty Alliance Foundation in cooperation with OBBM Network TV, bringing citizen-led, creative local media to the forefront of local communities to foster a greater understanding of constitutional liberty and appreciation of what makes us truly free, starting with beauty and meaning.
The Zach Rateliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Exceed Health Clinic on Mullen Drive in Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
God's idea of wealth redistribution is different from socialism's idea of universal basic income, in which everyone's paid whether they work or not. Jesus talked about two servants who worked and were rewarded with more, while what the lazy person had was taken from him and given to the hard worker. The biblical path to prosperity involves work and ingenuity, not handouts. I'm Pastor John Miller. Visit me at churchontherock.org.
Hello and welcome to the Zach Rateliff Show. I'm Zach. This is my buddy Brandon.
Hey, what's up, Zach? Thanks for having me back today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with some exciting stuff.
Right. Let's talk about some positive, happy things.
Yeah. You know, me being a bit redneck, as you know.
You? No.
Yeah, right. I am used to seeing, well, not used to, but it is not uncommon. Maybe it could be uncommon. I have seen in my life, we could say, people, not necessarily in my yard, but fighting in someone's yard.
Sure.
You know, go out the backyard, square things off, or be at a bonfire, and, you know, people get together and just beat the hell out of each other.
Fighting in the schoolyard.
Yeah,
you know,
fighting in the schoolyard. However, the amount of pride I got when I turned on my Paramount app, and there we are in the president's yard, and these boys are just squaring up, ready to work it out. Like, I really hadn't even planned on watching it. And then all of a sudden, the propaganda hit me. I'm like, you know what? I am going to watch this.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great, dude.
Oh, phenomenal. Like, I had my reservations about it, too, and all the political implications and whatnot, but I was like, look, they're going to do it regardless of what I think. Might as well enjoy.
That's where I wound up, too. And then I was looking at this report from Clandestine on, or Clandestine, however you want to say, you know, on X.com. 80,000 people were watching from like the farther away yard.
Yeah.
80,000 people showed up for this thing.
Dude, my friends and I were watching. We had a whole group together yesterday and barbecued and everything. America.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Man, every time they pan to the overview of the whole area, we were like, my goodness, we're witnessing history right now. Nothing like this has ever happened in the White House or anywhere in D.C., really. And it was crazy, the production that they put on and all the people that were there. It was wild.
You know, now I want to compare this to last June. A couple of Junes ago when Biden was in office, when they had topless trannies in the White House yard. Apparently that was acceptable to the media.
And I don't know. There was that and all kinds of other strange. I mean, you want to talk about bread and circuses? There was plenty of circus that day.
Yeah. There's plenty of circus last night.
Oh yeah, man.
But it was done in I truly, and then I've seen some memes today. You know, it's like Donald Trump's just the modern day Caesar, and maybe that's the case, right? We at least know he's leaving in a couple of years, and the Caesars normally didn't go so willingly. But it was just like he was there, and let me tell you another thing I thought was real cool about it. We heard about Jesus a lot.
Oh yeah, those fighters, a lot of them, if they're Christian, they don't shy away from it because who's going to stop them?
Yeah, you know, but good, because I don't like to shy away from it either.
Right.
And I'm not perfect. I mess up every day. However, the reason I'm going to heaven is Jesus.
You got that right.
But you know, and then to see him walking out with Medal of Honor winners, like, you know, no matter how bad these dudes thought they were. They're being escorted to the ring by somebody who truly a bad man.
Yeah, you can tell. They earned it. It's right there. You can see it.
And then, because at first I didn't realize they're Medal of Honor winners. When I saw those military guys saluting, I'm like, why do these military guys keep saluting? I'm like, oh,
yeah,
because that's a medal.
Yeah.
You know, that's the guy.
That's right. It was really, really well done. You know, if you love America at least a little bit, you couldn't help yourself last night.
No.
I mean, everything. The production was great. Watching them walk through the White House and walk out.
Who was it towards the end there that started at the Beast, you know, and then walked?
That was so cool.
And I'm just like, yeah, you know, just I went to the gym this morning. Instead of doing treadmill, I just did kicks on the bag. I'm like, yeah, America, baby.
I'm all juiced up from last night. Like, oh man, it was fantastic. And the flyover that they did with the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds from the Air Force together, like,
dude,
so cool.
It was just cool. Then you know, you pair that with this World Cup stuff.
Yeah.
America takes down a 4-1 victory on Friday.
Yeah, against Paraguay. No, they were pretty sure we were underdogs. Nobody expected the Americans to show up and be really any good. We're just a nice host.
Which the world was saying they didn't want to be here, and they weren't sure we wanted them here. And then what about these travelers that we're seeing? Dude?
Oh my gosh, I can't get enough of it. I've talked about it on social media for the last few days. Like, I'm watching TikToks and Facebook Reels and just everywhere because so many incredible stories are coming out of this. And it's like, all right, this is showing me that regardless of what the news says, the government says, Americans, we are a lot better than we're led to believe. You know,
and we're still the land of opportunities and dreams.
Exactly. And I think it's so awesome, these Europeans and Asians that are coming over and they're experiencing Walmart, Buc-ee's, Waffle House at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, all these things that we don't really give much thought to. It's just normal, average life for us.
Yeah.
And their minds are just blown. And it's amazing.
Well, you know, I saw one of them post that, you know, gas over there basically equates to $7 a gallon. It's anywhere from $7 to $11 a gallon. They're like, I know y'all are saying it's expensive, but we're glad to pay this. And,
sure.
And of course, then, you know, top of that, it's like all a great coming together of everything that happens once. Then this Iran deal is happening, so oil's falling through the roof this morning, and then you're like, this is like a good game of golf. Do you golf any?
I'm not great at it, but I like to get out there with my buddies.
See, same.
Yeah.
But you'll hit one or two shots thinking, you know what, I should do this more
maybe
often.
I'm getting this figured out.
Yeah, right. Like that's kind of the thing. It's like all this is coming together. Think, this is who we could be. Then I'm not saying this is who we are all the time,
right,
but this is who we strive to be. This is the, because when you're reading these, hearing from these travelers and these Europeans are like, oh, we were told to watch out. And now look, if you're in New York City, or I wouldn't go, traipsing through Chicago or Detroit or anything, but if you're hitting the South, baby, you're welcome.
Oh yeah. There's teams in, I think they're in Georgia, Tennessee, obviously down in Dallas area, in Arlington. We got the Netherlands and Japan, I think, played yesterday, and their teams were there and took over the city, and everybody was having a blast with them. There's some guy from Germany,
Freddie.
Freddie, that has just become an instant sensation, and he's traveling the country and experiencing all the things and listening to the music. And he got a shout out on the radio station because apparently he's a Ella fella. He likes Ella Langley.
Well, and then J.J. Watt paid for his hotel the other night.
Too. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm like, did they do this on purpose? Or are they messing with us? Or is this just genuine American hospitality?
I think it's real, man. I think this is who we are.
I think so too.
And I think the world's been so lied, just like we've been lied to about ourselves, right? Yeah. The media all the time telling us we're evil, we're bad, we need to conform, and it doesn't ever feel right when they say that. Because I'm out, I talk to people for a living.
Yeah,
and you have a wide range. You just talk to people all the time too. It's like I don't know that that's who we are. And then when you see this and people are like, "This is so," I'm like, okay, this is who we are right there.
And even in my talking to people, I get people from all over the political spectrum. And I get along with most people, even though we have our disagreements on how we like to do things. Most people really aren't that bad. I mean, they only highlight the extremes, and they want to make it seem like this person is an example of everybody that thinks this way. Right. And it's not the case.
Yeah, no, even kind of like, I jest and saying rednecks fighting out in the yard. But I mean, because we all,
I mean, stereotypes are stereotypes.
Yeah. And don't hit that old car because I'm going to fix it up one day, But it's just amazing to see. And I know there's going to be, and I'll admit, I hadn't turned the news on. I hadn't gone over to CNN to see what they said. I hadn't even gone to any of my main websites that I normally look for the show because I just didn't want the aura of what I felt around it just to be degraded yet, because I know there's going to be.
I don't want them to ruin it for me.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the high that was like, it just made me want to eat a hot dog, have a piece of apple pie and some ice cream, and sit in the lawn chair.
And what's really cool is that we're just getting started. Like, this was the first weekend, and this whole experience goes on for the next month, which means all of these international guests are going to be here for our 250th birthday. How cool is that? Like, we invited everybody around the world to come party for our birthday.
Yeah, it's like it's a job. I had the opportunity. I was blessed enough. I think Bastille Day in Paris or in France. I believe it's the 18th of July, but it's in July at some point.
I think you're right.
I had the opportunity at one time in Paris to be under the Eiffel Tower on Bastille Day and watch the fireworks and watch it light up. And it was cool to take that in with their people. Now, it wasn't a major, anniversary, but it was still one. Yeah. So to be here for the 250th as a foreigner, like, I just think it's got to be cool. Of course, I've noticed that a lot of them thought we were still kind of like the Wild West, they're all going around toting guns, which, not that we aren't toting guns, but we're not shooting everybody. And, we're not, that's not who we are.
No. And the reports of how all of these people are saying how everybody's so welcoming, so nice to them, and people are buying them meals and giving them rides because they think they're used to Europe where you can walk everywhere, and they're like, no, we're wide open spaces over here, buddy. You got to drive.
I saw where one person got a hotel in Fort Worth, and we're going to just try to easily get over to the stadium in Arlington. And I'm like, no, that's 30 minutes, baby. That's 30. Work. Yeah. Now, there's a 20-minute walk from the parking lot to the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just getting there.
But, yeah, that's super cool. And I'm just really proud of all of our people that are interacting with these folks. And I wish I had the opportunity to drive down to Dallas and experience some of that during this. So I'm going to try to make that happen.
Are you?
I do want to go down there and be a part of it. I don't really know much about soccer. Obviously, it's not a very popular sport for us, but maybe this will bring it up some. But for me, it's just the experience and of the people that love it and them celebrating it and getting to witness that, I think would be very interesting.
When I was living in Fort Worth, it was whenever they had the Super Bowl in Arlington. And I obviously didn't go to the Super Bowl, couldn't afford to do all that. And but we would go downtown and into the square there in Fort Worth and just kind of same thing, just watch all the people coming in and watch the pageantry around that. And then and the ESPN set was set up there. And it was real cool. So I bet it would be cool just to be around there with all that. And then, I don't know, there's just something neat about seeing a people appreciate what we as American citizens have forgotten to appreciate.
Right. And I think that's cool. And it's reminding folks, hey, even though we've got our flaws, we got our disagreements, like, here's the reason we're all fighting to make this place better, because it's worth saving. It's worth keeping, and
and how valuable our freedom is. One of the things that I think that I've seen these Europeans talk about is how they can get free ice and free refills. Like, they're like, what is this?
They're like, no, I don't want to get charged. I didn't know that was a thing over there. Like,
yeah, I didn't.
Apparently, you have to pay for refills in Europe.
And you don't get ice at all.
No, I don't want to go.
If you ask for ice, they look at you cross-eyed. Like, yeah, it's a big deal, So anyway, now one thing I thought was neat. This is from MAGA Voice on X.com, was at 3 a.m. this morning. So after all the pageantry and all that, Donald Trump walking up the steps to Air Force One to fly out to go to the G7 meeting.
Oh, wow.
This guy to have just turned 80.
Yeah. Yesterday.
Yeah. He's a machine, man. I mean, whatever people think about his politics, which I agree with most of them. I can't say I agree with all of them, but I agree with most of them. This dude's working. I think he's doing what he thinks is best, and that's when we elected him. We didn't elect him to do everything I want so much as use good judgment.
I mean, I give him credit. He's doing it, and
yeah,
you know, if I was out there doing all that he's doing, I would probably be napping in chairs and stuff too. So, I mean, especially if I was 80 years old. I mean, come on, I get it. I know people are picking on him about it because everybody gave Joe Biden such a hard time, so it's fair game, I guess.
You didn't see Joe Biden walking around at 3 in the morning or walking around.
Yeah. But yeah, so 3 in the morning after they.
Yeah.
Well, dang, because I don't remember what time it shut down.
No, well, I fell asleep in my chair right at the end of it. Oh my God. So this is from a traveler here that it says, and I just sent this to myself. This is on X.com. Leah Ray. She says, the more I travel America, the more I realized they weren't lying when they said it was the land of the free. You can buy pretty much anything you want in all sizes. And then she says, mainly large. There's freedom of speech, and people seem to just get on with life without the government telling them what to do. I'm definitely a jealous Brit. And so I sent that to myself because one of our listeners, and as I was telling you before the show, we're growing. This thing's growing, and it's because of God, and thank God for it, and we're not going to shy away from that. But one of our listeners regularly emails me from the UK that listens. Wow. And he always says, hey, man, just keep doing what you're doing because we're not allowed to have free speech. And he's like, if we would have been talking about these things, 10 years ago, we wouldn't be where we are. And so that's why that hit a note to me here. She's like, they have free speech. Yeah. Yeah, you might somebody that listens to this might get their feelings hurt or might get upset. And it's not my intent. No. However, if your feelings get hurt, you own that. I didn't cause them to get, But so to see this lady, they're like, oh, this is why they're, like you said earlier, this is what we want. Yeah, do we get distracted by the bread and the circuses? Sometimes. Also, celebration never really hurt her feelings either.
Yeah. I read one from one of my friends last night, and he was saying, you can still enjoy the bread and circuses and pay attention to everything else that's going on.
That's exactly right.
You don't have to do one or the other.
No, that's exactly right. Let's see. I want to hit this Iran stuff real quick, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, let's hit it.
So this was on Fox News, and this is from Eric Doherty, too. He says, just in, Vice President J.D. Vance announces the agreed to Trump-Iran peace deal, which, side note, really what they've done is said we're going to have a moratorium on hostilities for 60 days while we knock out this peace deal. We're not actually, there's still 2 months to go on that. But right now it blocks Iran from ever pursuing, procuring, or obtaining a nuclear weapon with U.S. inspectors, is my understanding, with us going in and verifying it via satellite. So that's a key to that. Because the Iranians are just going to promise whatever to get us to stop killing them.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, as happens. 2, immediately opens the Strait of Hormuz, which that was last night, lifts the U.S. naval blockade, and then opens up huge investments for the region. So those are the top 4 things. If done right, I think this can be good. But if done right is the key.
Yeah, and we still got a little ways to go, and there's a lot of things that can happen in that short time period to make things go around.
Israel keeps trying to screw us up on it.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but I'm glad you did.
I figured you felt the same way.
Yeah.
We're here, we've got, so much that Trump has to call Netanyahu and be like, hey, what the are you doing?
Yeah.
You're messing this up. I feel like they're actively working against us on this deal.
I was happy to see the pushback from the Trump administration against Israel and their continued bombing of places in Beirut, Lebanon, and surrounding areas. And that kept, every time we got close to closing this thing out,
Israel would send one
Israel
off.
was like, nope. And I'm like, what? Why? How are we letting them undermine
with our tax money?
Because we fund all of that.
If they were doing it and we weren't paying for it, I might be like, well, they're sovereign. And they may be sovereign, but they're sovereign with our money, which is not necessarily what I like.
And they're trying to make that harder to see.
Yeah, with
I
the
don't know if
new
you wanted to
the
talk
stuff
about
in
any
the,
of that with
you
the
can go into
Section 224 in the House, and then I don't remember the Senate
But
version.
what other countries do we have that with? There's a couple other ones that we have that agreement with.
Do we?
Yes, I can't remember off the top of my head because
That we're tied militarily and intelligence community?
I think the UK is one of them. And if I'm wrong, I don't know. But my understanding was, or something like was very close in verbiage to that. I think UK were tied intelligence wise to, which the worry there is as it goes more Muslim.
Yeah.
Then, because that was the concern is, or do we still need to be sharing our intelligence with them as they're going to slowly turn against us?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we already share intelligence with Israel. That's not a new thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we have some where we're just so deeply integrated on this level. I think we've got treaties in place with our other allies where we do share things and stuff, but I don't think it's quite to the extent
think the
they're trying to go
224 is a little bit deeper?
That's my understanding. Like I said, I could be wrong. I haven't looked too much into it because I've been focusing on other stuff here lately,
Which we're going to get to here
We're going to get into, but yeah, things like that do concern me as well.
I just... For so long, conservatives or libertarians, which I consider myself both.
Yeah, me too.
Which, I ran in the Republican primary for precinct chair and won. But one of the things they said about me was like, this guy calls himself a libertarian. Like, yes.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know this was going to be used. Thanks for advertising for me.
I really thought that conservatives were supposed to be more that direction.
I did too. But when I saw them, I'm like, okay. Yes, I do. Thank you. Thanks for helping me out.
Okay.
Anyway, this is from the news from the oil from last night. It had gone down to 80. And it is about that again this morning. Okay, and this was one thing I sent myself. This kind of got confident. It says, this is from Bonchi on X.com. Again, you may not like the UFC thing at the White House, but this is what I was talking about. But the moment you hung a giant pride flag from the columns, you lost all right to complain about desecration.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, and that's where I am to like, this is so bad. Like, well,
yeah.
Hold on. You called us hateful bigots for now. If you want to be gay, be gay. If you that's the libertarian side.
Sure.
Don't make me have to do it. Don't make my church have to do it. Don't make my kid have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you go be a free adult. You can do what you want to do.
That's the way I feel about it.
Like, I don't know what's so hard about this freedom thing. It does seem to.
So I guess last night while the president was ringside, J.D. Vance was in charge of all the negotiations and things that were going on, because it seemed like that there was a lot going on with the whole Iran deal last night, and the president's just partying. So people are like, what's going on here? How's this working? But like you said, it's not a done deal.
We're
getting to the table again.
But
like it's Groundhog Day. What is this, the 38th time now? But I don't know. Maybe I'm skeptical.
Yeah, right. Which they're part of the Islamist way is you're allowed to lie to people in order to take them over. So they're going to lie to us the whole time and not see a problem with it. So you just have to know that and go in. However, part of being a good leader is you surround yourself with people around you that here's what I want to happen. Get back to me if there's a reason why we can't do that. So he's doing his job as the CEO of the country.
Yeah.
I
mean, regardless, Islam or whatever religion, I think that's kind of a thing to governments in general.
Right.
That, they will do and say whatever it takes to get their agenda. It doesn't.
For sure. Yeah.
Whoever's more powerful comes out on top.
That doesn't that part of it's not just Islam. The government lies to us all the time. Like, we'll probably get into some
just
of that.
trying to be fair.
Yeah.
Don't say I'm endorsing Islam.
Yeah, here he is. Coming out fundraising for the mosque down the road. All right, so here's this, and then we'll kind of get to some other stuff. Have you seen where people are mad that, SpaceX came out with its IPO, and they're mad that Elon became a trillionaire.
Yeah.
So this is a reminder from Australia. It's this German guy, VCE it's supposed to be Voice of Reason on X.com. But it had to translate, so I had to give it a second. In 2021, Elon Musk offered the United Nations to pay for ending world hunger with the sale of part of his Tesla shares. The only condition was that the United Nations transparently disclose exactly how this amount would end world hunger and how the funds would be used.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
I had forgotten it until I saw this. It says, of course, the United Nations did not accept the offer because they would have had to explain how since the 1950s, $2 trillion in development aid has flowed to Africa, but nothing has improved in all those years. So everybody I can't believe he's already offered to do it. He's already offered to end world hunger.
Says, you say it's this number that takes it to do it. Show me the numbers. Show me the breakdown.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's great to look at because he created over 4,000 millionaires.
Yeah.
Which they helped create it too, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So, but it's just like when Walmart, right? Walmart, they used to say about Bentonville, Arkansas, there are more millionaire secretaries in Bentonville than anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. That's what happens.
Well, one thing I saw get pointed out about it is that, okay, he's the first trillionaire and you're mad and you think he should be doing all this with his money. That's his money. Mm-hmm. And it's not even like he has $1 trillion in his bank account. It doesn't work like that. It's tied up in assets and things. And
yeah.
Anyway, the point is that, okay, well, our government spends $1 trillion a year to service the national debt.
Right.
$1 trillion per year just on the debt.
Yeah, exactly. We're $40 trillion in debt. So you could take his $1 trillion and we'd still be $39 trillion in debt.
Right. And it's like, you're putting your anger at the wrong people. Like,
it's these politicians that lie to us all the time who are the issue.
And they go, oh, we don't have money for this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, because you spend it recklessly on other things. And whenever you don't bring in enough money, you just print the rest to make up the difference. And then we all suffer because the value of our dollar goes down and inflation, it's just.
That's exactly right.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Well, and that's even the thing, too, is. Man, they do just print our money. I got distracted by that. I mean, they just print the money. And then, and here's my deal. If we're going to print the money, why are you going to tax us other than to control us?
What good are we doing if you're taxing us to death and you're still coming up short every year? What is the deficit now? Like $2 trillion annual deficit?
Oh, I'm sure it's worse than that.
And economically, it makes absolutely no sense, and it's not sustainable.
Or like all these politicians about the gas prices. Oh, we're going to just take away that 40 cents off the gas tax.
Right.
40 cents of every gallon we're paying right here is taxes. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and give us some relief there. Well, that wouldn't stop the rest of it. You know what? You're right. It wouldn't, but it'd make it 40 cents. That's $8 a 20-gallon tank.
Yeah.
I mean,
it gives you a little bit of relief.
Anyway. All right. Well, speaking of the government lying to us and spying on us, you posted a picture the other day of one of these flock cameras.
Correct.
On one of our local thoroughfares, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And
one of our biggest, most busy roads in town.
And so, we've got a lot of people, about 40% of our, well, not even anymore, but, less than 40% of our audience is here. Mm-hmm. However, this has a possibility of affecting everybody in our country at some.
Oh, absolutely. Wherever you're listening across the United States, these cameras are already in over 5,000 communities and growing. It's the most popular surveillance tool out there for law enforcement right now. They're not the only brand. They're just the most common, and they're receiving the most pushback right now.
I know a guy. Well, I told you a little bit about him before this, but I won't say his name because he would never see this because he doesn't believe in all this. But he lives, a couple hours from here, but won't leave that town because he won't go anywhere. Guy's got a degree in rocket science, won't go anywhere that he can be seen. Mm-hmm. And they got a red light camera in the town that he has, just one of the sensors. And he goes, no, those are taking pictures. It's not just a sensor. And so now it takes him an extra 10 minutes to get to the grocery store in that town because he will not go through it.
Goes around it. Yeah.
And he, years ago, him doing what he did, he got pulled over. He rebuilt a sweet old Mustang, and he got pulled over for speeding. And so he took his charge to court.
Really?
And goes in and proves that the radar detector is inaccurate up to 12 miles an hour. So they just gave him a fine for not having a driver's license because he's like, oh, I don't believe I should have to have one. However, he pays his taxes. He said that's the American thing to do. But so he's just big on, but he doesn't leave that little community because it's a country community and, and he's like, I can't, he goes, I don't want him to know. He doesn't have internet in his house. He doesn't have...
Probably doesn't have cell phone.
No,
if he does, it's like one of those old brick Nokias.
He doesn't have it in his house.
Yeah.
So, he keeps it at wherever he goes for going to work.
Right.
But nothing comes home. He's got a landline. And he's even weird about his landline. He doesn't even do voicemail. It's an actual machine. I mean, and I know that sounds real eccentric.
Yeah, a little bit.
But... here you put a picture of a camera that sees our face, and what else does it see when we come through one of these?
Let me see.
It's like drivers
or
license
sure I
plate.
Get everything, but it does get. It's called vehicle fingerprint. It'll get your license plate, your make, model, and color, and any other identifying characteristics such as a roof rack, aftermarket parts, dents, scratches, bumper stickers. It identifies everything and creates a total profile, and then it goes to a cloud that's on Amazon Web Services GovCloud, and it can be viewed by law enforcement all across the country and federal agencies.
Isn't that interesting? Knowing of some people that have experience with the Amazon cloud, it's amazing what they can filter out. And you think, oh, they wouldn't look at Texarkana or they wouldn't look at, what we're doing here. But I promise you, even a small podcast can get noticed by the Amazon cloud.
And now they say that there's an option given to the local law enforcement on what they share and with who that they can turn on. But it's they don't give them like, I'll share it with this. It's just will you share or will you not share? But they're saying that Flock still has access to it regardless of what you press on that. And other
How could they
jurisdictions are still able to see your stuff, especially at the federal level.
Which, let me play devil's advocate. And then, I don't even want to, but I will. So let's say... you have some stuff get stolen or whatever, car gets stolen or whatever, and you're like, hey, I don't know where it goes. In theory, I guess they could find you. They could find if it went through these cameras, they could track you, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Sure.
So why do we not want to be able to help people and help crime?
Well, let's see here. Let me go to this part of my notes that will help me articulate this clearly.
Yeah.
Because I had prepared for that.
Perfect. Because and that's my deal is I can see how it could be helpful, but which one of our founding fathers was like, one of them was like, I can't remember the quote. I had this in my mind last night even, but
Ben Franklin?
Yeah.
Those who would give up essential liberty to get security deserve neither, something along those lines.
Yeah, there you go.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're on the same path here. All right, go ahead with it.
Well, the argument that these cameras help catch criminals obviously has merit. But the thing is, lost my place real quick.
What was the movie with Tom Cruise?
Minority Report.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, because that's the pre-crime.
That's it.
And I mean, that's where I feel like we're headed.
ALPR technology probably help solve crimes. We've established that.
What's it called?
That's not a question. ALPR, Automatic License Plate Reader.
Okay.
The question is, what are we willing to give up to achieve that result? Whether we were ever asked or whether the system is actually deployed, connected to Palantir, by the way. With that, I wanted to get into that.
Is that
it's
the
feeding federal databases expendable through software updates with no warrant requirement? It's another thing that I wanted to mention is that right now the cameras that we have installed locally are called the Flock Falcon, and it is your ALPR that is able to scan all those things we discussed. But it did have a software update where they can get 15-second live video clips. And eventually they are planning to have another update that goes out where the cameras will be total live feeds without any adjustments to the hardware that's already installed and without any kind of public vote on the upgrade to this system.
They're just watching us, which is what they do in China.
Right.
And that's the fear, right? Your social credit and...
So let me speak to the crime part here because I got some statistics that I think kind of bring it into some perspective. Flock performs over 20 billion vehicle scans per month. If the system helps solve 700,000 crimes per year, that's fewer than 60,000 crimes per month resolved from 20 billion monthly scans. So
billion with a B?
60,000 crimes per month resolved from 20 billion with a B monthly scans. That's a resolution rate of 0.0003% per scan. Okay?
I wonder how many of them are me picking my nose going through these lights.
The system logs the movements of every law-abiding citizen in every covered community indefinitely to produce a result that resolves less than one crime per 3 million vehicle observations. So one crime per 3 million vehicle observations is what we're getting right now.
To be tracked.
Yeah. And all of your data that goes into these systems, supposedly the photo gets deleted within 30 days. But the thing is, all of this information goes into this huge database, and it's perpetually there indefinitely according to the language in the patent and in the contract that Flock sends out to these local agencies. So in other words, this doesn't go away. Everything you do, everywhere you go that paints a picture of who you are and who you associate with, such as where you go to the doctor, where you go to church, if you go to political meetings, wherever you go that these systems are around to track you, they're painting a picture of who you are, and that data is going into a large database. We don't know who has access to it. We don't know what the oversight is for protections for potential abuse, which there are already numerous cases from law enforcement and other individuals across the country that have used this to negatively impact their communities. Like law enforcement officers have been arrested and decommissioned for stalking ex-wives.
Really? I don't even know why I'm surprised.
People that they just don't like. If there's somebody in the community that they don't agree with, then they want to target them to get them to hush. Things like that are happening, and they're utilizing this system to do so. The problem is, and that's also part of what I've asked the city, is there oversight? Is the database ever audited for who's getting in there, who they're searching for?
Do we have a list of people that are
Right.
actually going back and checking these videos?
Right.
Or is it just...
Do we know? How many officers have access to this? Do they all have it? Are they able to go on there and search for whoever they want? I have been told that they're supposed to have a case number before they go in and search your plate or your description. That's another thing. They don't even have to have your plate. They can get a general description of your vehicle, and because of the AI capability,
they can be like black Ford Bronco.
They can search it and find you on there. Like there's people that have been falsely identified by this technology and charged with crimes that they did not commit until they found out later that, okay, like for example, there's a guy in Florida. They put in a description of a vehicle that was seen near this crime, picked up by the cameras, and this guy lived 300 miles away and had evidence that he was, in fact, 300 miles away from where this alleged crime occurred. And they still charged him. Now, eventually, once they discovered all of this and realized that the technology got it wrong, the charges were dropped. But the fact that...
But he's probably got the charges showing now, and then you've got the lawyer.
Right. The fact that that's happening, and that's just one case. It's happened multiple times. So, obviously, anybody who had any experience with AI knows that it's not perfect. Yeah. It makes mistakes. And so, law enforcement's coming across that.
My autocorrect shows that.
Yeah. So there's that reason for concern. Another reason for concern is that these devices and their database is easily hackable by anybody with an internet connection and a desire, because it is not difficult to do so. I watched a video where they didn't tell exactly how to do it, obviously, because they didn't want people to learn it, but they showed they were able to get in under 30 seconds and track. They can see the live footage from the cameras that do provide live footage. They can see those. So anybody that doesn't like you and wants to know where you're at, they can find you very simply.
You know, God, there's just so much there. So with the way I've kind of always felt about my phone, obviously your phone tracks you.
Right. Your
but
phone
I'm
tracks you,
choosing
but there's
to
ways
carry
that
that.
you can protect yourself
Yes.
from that to an extent. Like when you choose to share certain data with apps or your location with those apps, you can choose not to. The only thing you really can't prevent is obviously the carrier.
Right.
But in order for law enforcement to get that information, they have to have a warrant.
Yeah.
And so that's where that is constitutionally protected. And then obviously your own privacy is up to how much you want to put effort into it. And like I said, you can leave this at home. You don't have to take it with you everywhere you go.
You leave it at home, pedal a bike, nobody knows where you're going.
You put it in a Faraday bag, different things you can do about this. You consent to this, but there's no consent to being tracked with these other devices.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know if you've played this out this far or not. If me and you go out here and I move this setup to wherever public property is around us, it wouldn't be this parking lot because it's private, but wherever there's public property, let's say we go to Spring Lake Park.
Sure.
We're going to film there. Whoever comes through the camera, nothing they can say about it. It's public property. We can show them.
Correct.
How does the flock camera differ from that?
Well, there was a case that was presented in 2018, and I cannot remember it off the top of my head. Let me grab that real quick.
Because I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying
I got you, and I've got something for that. Sorry, there's just so much with this. I can't remember.
No, dude, no, I appreciate it. And anything I don't ask that you're like, hey, we need to talk about this, because I don't know enough to know what I don't know.
Okay. We'll start here at United States versus Jones from 2012. Supreme Court unanimously ruled that attaching a GPS device to a vehicle and tracking movements for 28 days constituted a Fourth Amendment search. 5 justices wrote separately to establish what became the Mosaic theory, that long-term surveillance of vehicle movements violates reasonable expectations of privacy because it generates a comprehensive record of a person's associational, political, professional, religious, and personal life. So just like we just discussed, that this thing tracks you and creates a fingerprint and a footprint of everywhere you've been, and it gives a profile, basically, of who you are based on that data. That's what the AI does. It investigates, and it says, this person goes to these places, and we think this, that, and the other.
Which is terrifying.
And so we've got one. We got United States versus Jones from 2012. Then there's Carpenter versus United States in 2018. This is the key case. Supreme Court ruled 5-4 that accessing 127 days of cell phone location data without a warrant violated the Fourth Amendment. Chief Justice Roberts wrote that comprehensive location data achieves near-perfect surveillance and that individuals have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the whole of their physical movements. The court explicitly embraced the aggregation principle that 24-hour dragnet-type surveillance may encroach upon protected privacy interests because the whole reveals far more than the sum of the parts.
Well, does it have which 5 voted that way in the affirmative?
It doesn't show me here on that.
Because I'm wondering who the 4 were. I know 3 of them, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But, I mean.
But the point is that, yes, there's no reasonable expectation of privacy when you're in public. Like, if I happen to see you or know where you are and I go and take a picture of you, that's different. But whenever I start to follow you around, take pictures of you, and get a total footprint of your everyday, that's an invasion of your privacy. There's a word for that. Stalking.
Yeah.
So what
we're
the
being
Supreme
stalked by our
Court has
overlords.
already decided, based on other long-term surveillance, is that it is an unconstitutional breach of the Fourth Amendment. So in my opinion, and what many people are fighting, and other legal experts much better than me are saying, that these cameras fit that bill, because they track you regardless. There is no warrant required to access that information, and there's really no oversight.
So how many of these cameras do we have in our area here? For everybody that doesn't know, we're in the Texarkana area. 120,000 people MSA.
My last count, this includes the city of Texarkana, Wake Village, and Nash. I believe we have 28 cameras.
Oh, no doubt. I thought there were just like 4 or 5 of them.
No, and I don't know for sure exactly how many belong to the city of Texarkana. That is one thing I'm hoping to find out soon. I did go on the website, and I was able to look up some meeting minutes from the city council from a couple years ago. I believe that Flock started in this area in 2023 when they purchased their first contract for 5 years, and they had 11 at the time. But
So
I
going up
couldn't
by
find
17 since
I
then.
couldn't find anything else about purchasing more. And that's the thing, they don't purchase these outright either. They don't belong to the city.
Or they're leased?
They are leased from Flock. Flock maintains possession of these devices.
You know, because like if you go to the Texas traffic site, whatever that is, Texas Highway, you know, that's not a Flock camera, but you can, when the interstate's open, you can go and you can see how the traffic's flowing here and different, but that's not counting those,
once you know
right?
what they look like and you spot one of them, you'll see them every time.
Well, I saw that picture you put up. I'm like, oh.
If you go to dflock.org, you can look up your local map wherever you are, and it will show you the cameras, their locations, and which way they're facing in your area. Now, all of this is done by private individuals who have reported and logged these. This isn't like an official map. So people here in the local area have already mapped out the ones that we have, and we do routine checks to see if any updates have happened and new cameras have been placed. As of right now, I don't think so. We're kind of set with what we've got for now, I think.
So what are the next steps in awareness maybe around this in our area, or like what are we where are you looking at going?
Several things you can do. Like I said, go to dflock.org. That has a bunch of information about the Flock cameras and what they do. It also will tell you what they have in your area. You can go to Have I Been Flock? Hold on, let me see if it's .org or .com. But there's a website where you can go and you can put your plate in, and it'll tell you if it's been scanned by one of these cameras.
What?
Yeah. Let me find that real quick.
Man, I drive
because that's important. And then also, if you're local here in Texarkana and you're listening, join me on Facebook at DFlock Texarkana. There's a Facebook group we have. Last I checked this morning, we had about 970 members, I think.
Go ahead, dude.
We're growing pretty fast. It's been going for, I think, about a week now.
I mean, I joined the other day, and it was not at 900. So there are people interested.
972 as of right now.
That is rocking.
Yeah. So I believe it's haveibeenflock.com, and you can enter your plate. It'll tell you whether you've been scanned or not. What else? Okay. I guess that's all the 3 websites that I have for now that are important for that. I want to talk about locally. I did do 2 Texas Public Information Act, Texas Public Information Act requests to the city of Texarkana.
So a FOIA?
Yeah, FOIA request, but in Texas it's TPIA. And I want to list the things that I asked them because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And they have 10 business days to respond or to let me know that they've sent it to the AG's office, which I completely expect them to do.
You expect them to forward it to the AG's office?
Yeah, because a friend of mine and I compiled a request previously prior to this, and we didn't even ask that many questions, and it got sent to the AG, and all the information was denied. So that's why I studied, I read successful TPIA requests for this topic, and I kind of put the wording in mind towards what's.
Maybe they're busy with the Senate run, so that it'll go under the radar.
So let's find that. Okay. So yeah, I went to the city council on June 8th, and I spoke there for the 5 minutes that they give you. I asked them 3 questions. I said, does the city of Texarkana have a contract with Flock Safety? And if so, when was it approved? And was that approval brought before the full city council for a public vote, or was it handled administratively without public deliberation? Next, I said, which specific features of the Flock system are currently active in our city? Then I said, has Texarkana Police Department established a written policy governing how officers are authorized to access and search the database? What qualifies as a legitimate search reason, and how are violations investigated? None of the questions I asked that day were answered by any of the city council members that were present.
Were they just quiet, or they didn't know?
They were quiet. They didn't say a word. They just said, thank you for your time. And so that's
I guess you're allowed to talk. They don't have to talk back, huh?
Yeah. I got a good response from the citizens that were there. I got some applause, and we just kind of waited, and there was that awkward pause for a moment where we were waiting for them to answer, and they just moved on. So on the 10th of June, I made my 2 public records requests. The primary request covers the following: full Flock Safety contract, all exhibits, and all addenda. Procurement records and funding sources, including any federal grants. Records documenting whether the city council voted or whether it was handled administratively. All camera locations currently operating in Texarkana. Which system features are currently active, including live video, freeform AI search, and Nova. And those are 2 things we can talk about that Flock offers.
Okay.
The annual ALPR usage report now required by Texas House Bill 961, effective 9/1/2025.
It's a usage report of how much they're using it, I guess? Okay.
And then hot list policies and interagency watch list sharing agreements. The hot list is obviously anytime they add a license plate to that list. Anytime you go by that, it immediately sends a notification to local law enforcement on the street. And so we're asking what the policies and interagency sharing agreements are with that. Oversight policies and who has access to the system, data ownership, retention, and sharing provisions, administrative communications about the system. That's all in the primary request.
Okay.
The supplemental request covers this: organization and network audit logs from January 2023 through present in machine-readable format. Network share settings identifying which outside agencies can access Texarkana data. Aggregate system use statistics, including total vehicle scans and hot list alerts. Federal agency data sharing records, including any agreements with ICE, DHS, FBI, or DEA. Complaints and disciplinary records related to system misuse. That one's important.
Yeah.
And then supervisory and command level communications regarding the system use. So those are the 2 requests that I've sent, asking all of that information. I don't think I'm going to get probably half of it.
Do you ever feel like, just a nerd question, I think. But
yeah.
Like, is this not the lead up to Terminator?
That's exactly why we're pushing back, because
I mean,
it sounds crazy. People think we're conspiracy theorists, but the founding of Flock was in 2017, and the money that they got to start this project came from Founders Fund, I think it's called, which is the same venture capital group that Peter Thiel owns and did Palantir. And if you're not familiar with Palantir, they were funded by InQtel, which is a 3-letter agency venture capital thing.
And I feel like, Peter Thiel, he was influential in some major politician getting their position. Who was that?
You know, I'm not gonna go there.
Mm-hmm. It was J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it was J.D. Vance, and he's also named in the Big E files 2,200 times. There's no wrongdoing alleged against Till, but the fact that he's in there associated with emails, phone calls, voicemails, and he obviously knew the guy well. So,
which let me just, I see you say a lot on that.
All of that being said, there's intelligence community, there's that connection.
Yeah.
So many red flags that these are the people that own the program that's watching you every single day.
Let me just rabbit hole on you on the Big E file.
This is all documented, verified. It's not conspiracy.
No, I know. I'm with you on that. We'll get back to that. I just think it's the whole island thing was obviously such a blackmail racket for intelligence that's why they can never let go of it.
Absolutely.
And I would just feel better if they came out and said, hey, look, yeah, we've got dirt on these people. This is how we extract information and keep information. We know, and we just can't tell you. I would be like, you know what?
And you're crazy if you think it stopped when the other guy died or was arrested.
Or if he did.
Yeah, if he did. The whole,
that's a whole...
What is it, Palm Beach Pete?
Have you seen that guy?
Looks just like him,
same
sounds
tattoo.
like him, same tattoo, same airplane. Like,
go ahead, rock on, Pete.
all right, man. But,
yeah.
You know, so... Yeah, obviously that kind of network doesn't just end when the guy at the top gets cut out.
And she's staying alive for a reason.
Yeah. So
I mean,
you know,
anyway, that's all speculation. But yeah. Anyway, so but back to this. This is how it all ties together. Like you said, these are the people watching us. These are the people writing people are indicting people 300 miles away in Florida, or charging them 300 miles away in Florida. This is how we had a helicopter get shot down in the Strait of Hormuz the other day. They sent a boat that couldn't be detected by radar, that just had a local location that found the beacons off the helicopter crew's life jackets, that had not a person running it, that was autonomous. It drove up to them. They were able to pull themselves inside of it and then drove back to whatever ship it came out of. Mm-hmm. Which is real cool. Don't get me wrong. And I want to lead the technology on it. However, I don't want to have, which I may or may not, a plan in my mind of how I can leave the house if I had to, if Skynet falls and comes down on us. If I have this much gas and I don't take my phone, I can go this way and not be seen. Yeah. Side note, the other part of this is the kill switch in these cars that's coming out.
Well, that's another thing to talk about. Also, Flock's already got other technology that, to my knowledge, hasn't been utilized in our local area yet. They have the standard ALPR, the Falcon, which is what you see around town and what we know most common. They also have a Condor version, which is a live video camera, and it's got tilt, zoom, AI facial recognition, all of that dragnet stuff that you're scared of, they already offer it. On top of that, they have a audio sensor that is supposed to detect gunshots and alert police to the area wherever that occurred. That technology has already been proven that whenever you are near it and having a conversation, it can hear that too.
Which, once again, this is voluntary. So
obviously, yeah, your cell phone can, but you can turn that stuff off. You can quit giving them access to your microphones, allegedly. Yeah, they probably still.
Your TVs do it too, by the way.
Yeah, TVs, they can map your whole house with just Wi-Fi signal. But
the thing in Batman, in the Batman with Christian Bale, where they map the inside of the building, remember that?
Yeah,
that's real.
Yeah,
like that. That's not just some made up.
So the ALPRs, the Condor, the gunshot detector, and they're also they have, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like the Raven or something. The drones,
right?
Where they are going to eventually get to a point where, say, gunshot detector goes off.
Yeah.
They immediately send a drone to the area to locate any possible suspects. Same thing if you're on the hot list and you pass one of the license plate readers, drone coming right at you, and a regular police officer will be there shortly. I mean,
well, and it's in Texas now. They're running, in Arkansas for a while they've had speed checks by plane.
Yeah.
But now they're running drone checks and on I-35. I don't know if 30 got the.
I don't know. But the point that I'm trying to make with all of this effort is that if we don't start speaking up now, and we may already be too late.
Or at least behind.
We are definitely way behind. If we don't start standing up for our rights now, then we're going to be in too deep to go back.
You know, you know where I was.
Yeah.
We were out in the yard one day, sighting in our 300 mags, okay, and shooting towards some woods towards the back where there are houses on the other side of those woods now, but at the time there weren't. And so it's across a pasture, through some pine tree, like, you know what's there.
Yeah.
And, you know, shooting, sighting in guns, and the sheriff pulls up, you know, and says, I'm going to need you to put your gun down. Well, the person I was with goes, you're not coming into my yard with your hand on your gun. Tell me to put my gun down. Yeah, no. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
They're like, you're being loud. They're like, we're in the middle of 10 acres.
Yeah. Get off my property. You have no business here. You have no probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime.
Yeah, and they're like, well, it's disturbing the peace. He goes, well, we're in the middle of 10 acres.
Yeah.
I don't care who it's disturbing.
Yeah, sorry.
And then once again, they're like, sir, put the gun down. He's like, no. And he now wasn't pointing at anybody, but wasn't getting put down just for point of the matter. You can't, and this is Texas, and this is what we've all got about us a little bit. Is you can't just come onto our property and tell us to put our gun down.
Absolutely.
We're out here having a recreation time in a safe and secured manner with headphones on, or maybe it was earplugs at that point. But, you know, like, there's obviously targets and a shooting table, and, like, so as crazy as that sounds, that somebody would tell an officer of the law, like, oh, you can't tell us that. Yes, you can tell them that. Yes, you can put in not a FOIA, but a TPOIA, and say, hey, why are you looking at me? Why are you following me? It takes real concerted effort from people like you to maintain these freedoms, just like the Thomas Jefferson quote that you were talking about earlier. Because if you want safety, you don't have freedom.
Yeah.
And but a lot of times if you have freedom, you can create your own safety.
You know, one of the biggest pushback that I get from people is that, well, I don't have anything to hide, so I don't have anything to worry about. Okay, maybe by today's standards, that is true, but that can easily change, especially as often as the political winds change in this country. If somebody you don't like gets into office and has a policy you disagree with, that system could easily be turned against you for whatever reason they decide.
Well, look in Canada now, they just have a law, and they'll say this isn't what it is, but they just have a law now that if you quote the wrong Bible scripture to somebody, you go to jail. They can arrest you.
Right. You know, the FBI surveyed Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
The government tracked all kinds of civil rights leaders, anti-war protesters, journalists, political opponents. All these things are documented throughout history. That was before they had this great technology.
Right. Just think of what they can do now.
Let's see. Just recently, the Electronic Frontier Foundation documented that FLOC was used to track protesters exercising First Amendment rights peacefully at the 50501 protest, hands-off protest, and No Kings protest. Regardless of what you think of those protest movements, they have the right to do that peacefully, without being tracked by their government. And it tracks everyone. The I have nothing to hide, it assumes that the data will only be used for its stated purpose. FLOC was sold to cities as stolen car recovery tool. It's now being used to track protesters, monitor immigration, feed data into federal intelligence platforms. There was no public announcement of these capabilities. They are also being sold as something far different than what they are capable of now, and the future software updates that can be made with no public announcement through the existing hardware that's already there right now. So basically, they can enhance this, and you never know it.
Well, and just like I was talking about on the kill switch on the cars, they can watch what you do. They can do, like, my truck is a 2021. You can get into it. Like, it's happened a couple times now, and on the screen it'll pop up, but there's going to be a software upgrade to the software of your truck. The next time you lock your doors, you won't be able to access your truck for 15 minutes.
What?
And so the first time it happened was a couple years ago. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. It was before you started hearing about the kill switch.
Yeah.
And then it said, but you won't be able to access it. And I'm like, I'm sure I still could with the key. Got out and locked it. Key won't unlock it. The phone app won't unlock it. Your key fob won't unlock it. There was no getting in that truck for 15 minutes. Wow. And you could see on the screen, anytime you try to get in it said, access not granted, updating vehicle.
And this is a truck you have right now?
Truck that I have right now that I drive every day.
What?
And I bought it in 2021. It's a year model 2021. And so when they talk about these kill switches.
Ford, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's already in there. So they already.
Ford's leading the way on that.
They already have the way to kill switch you.
Yeah.
They can, and even, mine will do crazy stuff. Like, I have the low end. Don't get me. I don't have the King Ranch decked out. I went in and said, I want the 5.0 V8, F/4 for what I do, cloth seats.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you still had a roll down window, I'd take it, and I will give you this one. So I got the lowest end that you can have with a 5.0 and the F/4. Mm-hmm. And so I don't even think it's XLT. I know it's not XLT. And so, however, if I get drowsy driving, it'll pop up, hey, you're getting tired driving.
Yep.
You might want to take a break. I'm like, what?
That's the first phase, basically, of that technology. They started it like that, and now they've expanded upon it. And they're wanting that implemented in every vehicle.
So you won't be able to... And here's my thing about here.
Connect the dots, though. Like, you pass one of those things, they've red flagged you for whatever reason, send a message to your truck, shut you down, put you on the side of the road.
That's exactly where I was going.
Up, cop shows up.
Nothing you can do.
No.
Now, let's, like I said, we're more rural here than a lot of people.
Right.
Let's say I'm out at deer camp and something happens and there's a guy there that falls out of a deer stand.
Yeah.
And I've got to grab them, or maybe they fall out of a deer stand and an arrow goes through them.
Yeah.
Which is a thing.
It happens.
And so throw them in the truck. Now it's not going to start because my pupils are dilated and my blood pressure's up. Because one, I've just loaded a human into the truck. Two, it thinks I'm drunk. There's no ambulance coming around here, even out where you live.
Right.
I mean, what, 20 minutes to get an ambulance if you're lucky?
Right.
I mean, 20 minutes would be them moving. They'd have to already be halfway there.
For sure.
But if you are in any state of alert, your truck ain't going to start. Yeah. And then you're going to fly through a camera, and then it's going to shut you down anyway. But you're just trying to save somebody's life to get them to the hospital.
Yep.
But I'm not going to do anything wrong. Well, you haven't done anything wrong. No. You're just trying to save a person. However, you can't because the man's just got his thumb all over you.
Yeah. They're going way too far with the technology. I mean, like I said, it's already there. We're way behind. I'm going to keep pushing back on it.
Yeah, dude.
And until they stop me somehow, Well, I hate to say it that bluntly, but that's where we're at, know.
And they will try.
I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything extreme.
No,
just regular American.
Just use the tools that we have. You can file the request.
Yeah.
You can show up at city council. Yeah. You can go to the commissioner's court.
Yeah.
You can do all the things.
That's it.
And that's what we have to do as citizens. That's it's part of our responsibility. It isn't just some of us go vote. It's no, we need to make sure what they're putting, what they're doing to us.
We have to use the tools available to us now because if we don't, once we're under this system, then none of that will matter. And you can already see. I know I sound like a crazy tinfoil hat wearing person, but
not to me. Maybe that makes me one too.
The infrastructure is there. You can see it. We just talked about it. The camera systems, the trackers, and the kill switches in your car. Like, it doesn't take much to put two and two together and realize what's happening here. Well, it's all in the name of safety, and they have this utopian idea that they can eliminate crime. Not limit it, eliminate it. And you can listen to these people like Peter Thiel, Larry Ellison from Oracle, all of these big tech guys that are involved in this type of stuff all have this crazy idea that they think they can eliminate crime. And then, like you mentioned earlier, the Minority Report, well, they'll get into that where they're going to think, well, we'll not only eliminate it, but we will prevent any possibility that it could have, And
It's a mix between that and Demolition Man.
Insane, but it's actually what these people are saying. Like, listen to them on their interviews. They're not shying away from what they think and what they're wanting to do. Like, you think that they're just hiding in plain sight, basically. If they're not lying about their intentions.
No, if there were 4 movies that I would put all together to watch in the next month, it would be iRobot, Demolition Man, Terminator, and Minority Report.
For sure.
And those will give you the...
Like, it's crazy, but there is a conspiracy that a lot of Hollywood is kind of them telling you their intentions and putting it out there so that whenever stuff does happen, they go, well, we tried to warn you, but we used it through entertainment.
Look at what they're about to do with aliens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the new movie Disclosure Day, and Spielberg's bragging about how his movie's going to make Christians question their faith. Well, I don't think so. And Steve, if you hear this, that's not going to happen.
Well, you know, I've been saying for years now that I think the whole alien thing is a distraction for the upcoming rapture. So that when the Church of God is raptured, the Church of Christ, they can, not Church of Christ. I mean, some of them will make it. They think they're the only ones. That's a whole different argument. but when Christ's church is raptured, they'll be able to say, well, we told you all the bad people were going to disappear.
Yep.
We told you there were aliens. Well, see?
Yeah.
See what happened? And then everybody will be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fine.
You know, I mean, I don't know. That's my conspiracy. That's my crazy conspiracy theory.
Fortunately, if it does work out that way, you and I won't have to worry about any of the people left.
Well, I'll see you on the other side, baby.
Catch you later.
Well, all right, dude, let's get out of here. I appreciate you coming in with the facts and some opinion. And
absolutely. And, you know, there's so much to it. Obviously, we couldn't sit here and have me present everything to you. But if you go to my Facebook group that I created, I'm putting all kinds of information out there. I'm showing links to videos that'll tell you exactly what you need, want to know. So if you're interested in any of that information, learning more about Flock and the reason why we are raising the red flags and pushing back against it, go to DFlock Texarkana on Facebook. Go to haveibeenflock.com to check your plate, and go to dflock.org to see a map of your local area. And yeah, anything else, if you got questions, feel free to reach out.
all right, dude. All right, everybody. I hope God blesses each and every one of you today.